right, we live right now, so you can go ahead and do the introduction.
Alright, it's your boy Mouse. Guys already know, Pennsylvania, Colossal Boxing Talk.
Okay, this your boy CJ Goodfella coming live with Colossal Boxing Talk. Also, go
Got a
ahead,
special
Derek. I mean,
building.
he ain't boxing. Derek, he ain't boxing.
What's that from there? Ready to break it down?
All right, cool. You go ahead, McGee.
Alright, so today we're gonna get up the whole Golden Boy. I just want to get everybody's views on what's going on with the Golden Boy. What you guys think about the whole Richard Schaefer leaving, and what do you think Golden Boy goes from now? I mean, they say the Cold War is ending, but I thought our Golden Boy only had like one fighter on their roster.
He got Canelo and Morales.
Morales, yeah. Well, basically, what happened was, I'll break it down to you like this. What happened was, months ago before Oscar got out of rehab, he must have communicated with Richard, and Richard must have communicated with Al and shit. And they signed over all the fighters on independently with Al Heyman. So when they did that, contracts with Golden Boy. So now they can stay particularly with Showtime, and it's basically going to be Oscar, Canelo, and Mares, and maybe a handful of other Mexicans. And then you got Danny Garcia, the Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Sakio Bika, Anthony Durrell, Peter Quillins of the world, Floyd Mayweather, of course, on the Showtime. So it's still Showtime versus HBO, but the World War III has begun.
Yeah, but you know, all them fighters, they all Al Heyman boys. You know, they not. How you put it up? I even Canelo. I thought Canelo was rocking Canelo Promotions, not specifically
you need a big. Like Floyd Mayweather doesn't have a boxing license in Nevada, so he can't promote fights without Golden Boy or in Nevada. So, but those you need a bigger promoter to put to be able to have boxing matches in Nevada, which is the biggest boxing capital of the world. So without him, you can't do any fights unless you apply for a promoter's license in Nevada or California or wherever you're going to fight in. Without Golden Boy, you really much can't do nothing.
Yeah, Schaefer's about to get his money. He's about to do all that. They take it over with him.
They probably already did it, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think they had this in the works for a long time before they finally switched over.
That's what I'm saying. I think Richard Schaefer is going to open up his own promotional company. I mean, ultimately, that's what makes the most sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that he's going to around team. He's going to run Floyd Mayweather Promotions, which is the most established they have right now.
So if Mayweather Promotions, right?
Yep.
If Richard Schaefer stays on, because I was understanding that HBO they wanted nothing to do with Golden Boy. So if HBO doesn't want nothing to do with Golden Boy, how will that work with the whole Cold War ending?
Because Richard Schaefer dick sucked Bob Arum, and that's where it happened at, and they better make a mess with that. And actually, HBO, but even with all the Lou Bellas, the Gary Shaws, and Simon, they was running out of fights anyway.
So do you see what do you guys see happening now going on with like, obviously, Richard Schaefer and Al Heyman that's a team that's gonna stay together. Now you got people like Hopkins coming out and saying, they're not necessarily under Golden Boy, and he he was closer to Richard Schaefer and all this stuff. I mean, how can you really see the Golden Boy roster really, even if it is, you know, I don't know. For me, it's tough. I mean, I really don't see Golden Boy coming out on top of this.
No, I think Golden Boy is going to get buried in all this because they ain't got Al Heyman. All the fighters, first person that thinks Al Heyman. Al Heyman got everybody in their pocket. He's controlling it right now. Oscar have to go to Bob Abrams, try to make peace with him and make so.
Yeah, if you get basically if you worth 1.5, Al Heyman wants 2.5.
Yeah, but do you think? Here's where I'm coming. I think if you get Golden Boy to go over and deal with Top Rank, now you have the whole Al Heyman fighters. Are they gonna be willing to work? Cause you know Al Heyman got this thing of, well, not necessarily Al Heyman, but some of Al Heyman fighters got these things of not wanting to fight with top ranked fighters. Primarily Floyd. So if Golden Boy and Top Rank are working together, where does that lead? Who's gonna promote? I mean, is Golden Boy still gonna promote Floyd fights? Because I mean, ultimately, is he gonna want to take them fights?
Well, Floyd said the only person that he would want to fight was Canelo again, which that was the biggest payday, so why not? But I don't see him fighting too many other guys. Nobody's really gonna bring in the money besides Pacquiao, and he don't want no part of Pacquiao, so.
That's true. That's true. I don't think Cotto, if Cotto wins this on Saturday, you don't think he'll bring that money again against Mayweather?
I don't think it's winning.
Me neither. But I mean, I'm saying if you take, let's say Cotto does win, right, and you match up that Cotto versus Mayweather again. I mean, a lot of Puerto Ricans felt he won that first fight. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you do it in Madison Square Garden, you know, they did it in Vegas last time, right?
Yeah, so it was selling the Garden with Cotto.
You know, you do it in the Garden with Cotto, Puerto Rican. Yeah, I mean,
especially if he beats Martinez, that's big money because then you beat.
I mean, the Canelo fight. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I think established Canelo. Cotto's already established.
That brings a lot of money. I mean, if this is the way I'm looking at it. If Cotto wins on Saturday, and he beats, let's just say, this is just a what if he beats Mayweather rematch in Madison Square Garden, I think that fight can revenue a whole lot more money than a Canelo fight.
Maybe because it's history. But how could you drag Floyd Mayweather to Madison Square Garden?
I'm just saying, because they fought in Vegas last time, right? When Cotto and Mayweather fought, it was in Vegas.
Yeah.
Right? So, and you saw the money that was revenued off of that. So now, if Cotto wins, because that's a big if, he wins on Saturday, he gets the history, he gets that belt, and let's say, theoretically speaking, Mayweather says, okay, I want that belt. That's the money man. Cotto's not going to say no. He felt he won the first fight.
I think the rematch
in Madison Square Garden, where it's full of Puerto Ricans, and nobody does a better job of selling out Madison Square Garden than Cotto. You can possibly break, if they do that whole tour like they did with Canelo, there's a possible chance they might break that record.
Yeah, because of the first fight, but he's still getting his ass whooped.
Of course. How about that? I'm not betting my money on Cotto.
He'll get his ass whooped. Freddie Roach gonna write a check. He already writing checks that his ass can't cash right now.
He ain't not concerned you out in 4 rounds, that's for sure.
So do you guys think that Heyman is gonna he's trying to basically have basically he's not a promoter, he's an advisor. So I mean, basically, if he shows all these fighters how to promote themselves, we may just have no boxing. I mean, some of these guys don't want to step up and do, fights because Heyman said
think about it. Oscar not gonna want to put if Oscar he got fucked, he not gonna want to do business with Mayweather. Who HBO he can put in with Canelo? If Martinez win, maybe Martinez. But I mean, how many options do we have at 154 over in Golden Boy? Willie fucking Nelson. They got Willie Nelson for him, and Willie Nelson might whoop his ass.
That's true. I mean, but from what I hear, that's who Canelo wants, the winner of Cotto. I think
Who
I'm
should
not, I think Richardson,
the winner of Cotto Martinez?
Canelo, that's who he wants. He wants the winner of Cotto Martinez. I don't know about that.
I think it's
I will fuck Lara or make an excuse if I lose. I'll fight Peter Quillen, take his little bitch ass belt. Then Danny Jacobs gonna win that WBA belt. That's Gennady Golovkin got stripped of. He got elevated to super champion. I whip his ass, take his belt. Then I'll take Cotto. Well, Cotto might not be along that long, but I'll take Cotto first, I guess. And then three paths I will follow.
still got
That's true.
on an HBO.
You do got Kirkland. Everybody always forgets about Kirkland. I can't see Kirkland banning with Canelo. I don't know. I just think he might put it down.
It looked like the Angulo fight.
Hey, Angulo gave it to Kirkland, even though Kirkland came back and won that fight. And Angulo's a slow, hard puncher. So that's tough for me. I think Canelo would murder Kirkland.
Yeah,
I thought even Tapia was giving it to Kirkland for the first 3 rounds before he got.
See, Kirkland got a problem in the first 2 or 3 rounds. I think Canelo strike too hard early. He didn't hit harder than Angulo. Well, at least not Angulo whole body of career. That last fight he did. But the speed of his punches, they be, man. It just made Mayweather look so much better the way he beat the fuck out of Angulo.
That's true. But I mean, at the same time, it's not even only Canelo's power. Because to me, Canelo's power is questionable. I can't really say he has that much power yet because he fought a bunch of little guys. I mean, he was fighting 147 guys, and he's like a 160 guy. But he does throw combinations. I mean, he throws really good combinations. I've seen, he worked on Angulo. I don't really think it was more of the power thing. I thought he just worked on Angulo. He put a lot of punches together in that fight.
That's the only good thing about Brandon Rios. He don't really hit that hard. He just keeps coming at you and keeps putting that pressure on you. That's Cotto's only chance of beating Martinez if he keeps putting that pressure on him. That's the same thing Canelo got. I don't really think he has that much power. It's just the pace that he puts on people.
For me, Cotto had no power. He didn't have no power at 154. I don't know why people think that he's going to have power at 160.
Hell no.
I can't remember the last time Cotto knocked somebody out. I can't not remember the last time Cotto knocked somebody out. What was it, Yuri Foreman?
No, he knocked out Delvin.
Oh, that's true, but that don't even count. That's a ESPN fight.
If you want to bring up Yuri Foreman, you got to bring up Delvin. They both on the same level of class.
Right, I forgot that man. That's what? That don't even count. That was a given fight.
That was the best party though. See, that's the only thing that I'm looking at that might give Cotto an advantage is the way Freddie Roach said whenever you put him in there with Pacquiao, he's seen something in Cotto that he can maybe on him, but I still don't think it's enough to beat Martinez.
Yeah, but you know what? Pacquiao and Martinez are 2 different styles. Pacquiao's a come forward fighter. Martinez is not. So I think Martinez, to be honest, Martinez a whole lot. He hits a whole lot harder than a Pacquiao. I still think Pac-Man is on steroids, so I'm not even get into that conversation. But I think years from now, Pacquiao wouldn't come out and say he was on steroids.
In a book.
Oh, he's
Lance Armstrong.
Pacquiao, I'm telling you. I think Pacquiao gonna come out. He's gonna say it eventually. I think. I just want people to remember if he ever does come out and say it. Remember all that Bible talk he going around saying about Jesus Christ and all that. Y'all gonna remember that when you miss using steroids.
And then he gonna get more hate than Mayweather ever got.
Yes. Yeah, man. I don't know. They're talking a lot of stuff about him and Danny Garcia, but again, this is what the confusing part is with me. With Richard Schaefer not being on the Golden Boy no more, you have Oscar, but Danny's really, he's signed with Al Heyman and with Golden. Who makes that final decision now? You know, is Oscar going to be the one to be like, okay, you have to fight this guy? Or is Al Heyman, you know what I mean? Are we looking at another war situation with a bunch of fighters?
World War III. That's what we looking at.
Because I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking. You see what Andre fought, right? And him not to fight. Come on. Now that all these guys are signed under Al Heyman as advisors, and necessarily Richard Schaefer ain't there, are we going to see a bunch of promotional issues with these fighters and Golden Boy?
Well, I think no, because Oscar doesn't have them signed.
Who they signed to though?
They just exclusively signed Al Heyman, like Keith Thurman, for example. I talked to his assistant trainer, Chris Getty. He said he just signed exclusively with Al Heyman. He never had a contract with Golden Boy. So they just signed. They just eight Showtime fighters.
Yeah, but Danny's a Golden Boy fighter.
Well, I heard they switched the papers over on Danny Garcia. Bob Arum came out and said he wouldn't mind making Pacquiao and Garcia, but if Golden Boy still has Garcia, it's a good fight to make, but he's not sure who Danny Garcia signed with.
Oh, shit.
They Bob Arum been talking shit. So
It's not
That could just screw up all the good fights that we possibly could have got.
we still not gonna get the fight we want to see, and then we still not gonna get the fights that we actually in actuality want to see. The biggest fight of 2014, I'm telling you right now, no matter if Floyd Mayweather happens versus Pacquiao, is Lara versus Canelo, because it's Al Heyman versus Oscar De La Hoya that night. Who got the bigger nuts? That's basically what that fight's going to do.
I think Canelo versus Lara is the biggest fight of 2014?
Just because it's Al Heyman versus Oscar that night.
Now that you say it on the promotional side of it, I guess, but I don't know. To be honest with you, I think Martinez may end up being bigger than that.
I agree, but just the internal business. What if Richard showed up ringside, with Al Heyman showed up ringside, and Oscar there? Come on, dog. You know you want to see what's gonna happen.
I do, because I'm just saying. Hey, Derek, my bad.
Going straight back to rehab.
I'm just saying, what happens if Canelo loses to Lara? I mean, Golden Boy really all their big money guy right now is Canelo. So if Canelo loses,
that's what makes the fight so much more entertaining. And what's funny about it is,
Fight. That's
what's funny about
fight.
What's funny about it is, I don't know a lot of people know this, but all the executives from Golden Boy just quit. Most of all the chiefs, executive, all of them quitting. They leaving Golden Boy because Richard left.
I mean, because even Mahrez got knocked out by Johnny Gonzalez, and yet we still don't even know what's going on with the Mahrez thing. We were told a rematch.
Yeah, he got a fight. He got a fight on July 12th.
He didn't have a fight. Told him but he ain't had so far.
This was for a world title, though. He fighting some dude for a world title.
I thought he was supposed to fight my Puerto Rican, Velez, the one that signed the Dakota Promotions.
He might, but I know they fighting for a belt.
Yeah, they were supposed to fight for the belt, and the winner of that was supposed to get Johnny Gonzalez. But from what I'm hearing from Velez's camp, that Mahrez is not he hasn't been too eager to want that fight either. So I haven't heard anything about them signing no contracts or nothing either on that fight.
I know he coming back on July 12th on the Canelo undercard, Canelo Lara undercard, and Sean Porter and Kell Brooks in 9 days might land on that card too. So that's gonna be a big card. That's what I plan on actually ordering.
Sean Porter gonna destroy Cowboy.
Cal Brooks still ain't signed for that one though. They're waiting on him to sign.
Yeah, they got the IBF. He's trying to get him over there. IBF gave him 9 days to say, if y'all don't make it, we gonna make the fight. He gonna get ran the fuck out the ring, bro.
I don't know. I think Oscar's gonna go back to rehab soon because you betting your money on basically two guys that you're not even. You know what I mean? I think that Canelo fight. I got Canelo winning that Lara fight, but I think you know what I mean. I think Lara can. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sleep on Lara, but
Canelo win because of a rivalry. Lara gonna outbox the shit out of his ass.
hey. You know what? I can't argue that because Cubans have a history of beating Mexican on fighters, so I can't even argue that right now. But
and Lara a little dirty too. He got a little dirty tactics about him too. He might
you know what? Angulo was tagging him up, so I don't know. That you know what I mean?
But Canelo not a pressure fighter though. Canelo gonna try to sit there and outbox with him. He a macho boxer type of guy. If he try to box with him, he'll get his ass beat.
Compared to what Canelo did to Trout.
Woo!
But you saw what Lara did to, but you saw what Lara did to Trout.
But Lara knocked out, legitimately made Angulo quit. The ref saved Angulo life.
True. But I mean, hey, Angulo laid him out like 3 times, man. He just
That's just experience right there. He got his ass off that canvas. I think Angulo. Let's be honest. I'm gonna ask you a question. Did Angulo look like he was punching harder versus Trout? I mean, not for versus Lara. Then he was punching harder against Canelo.
Yeah, I thought he was punching harder in the Lara fight than he did in the Canelo fight.
I was surprised Lara to get off the canvas like that, but he got off the canvas.
That's true, but I mean Kirkland did too, so.
I don't know. So, after Chance got off the canvas, I sure would have liked to see how that Canelo fight would have turned out versus Kirkland.
Talking about Angulo, is he a Golden Boy fighter?
They might have signed his ass over. They might even give him. They might even give him Angulo. Like here, you can have. You can have.
Right now, this whole debacle with Richard Schaefer and Golden Boy has really messed up this whole, because you don't know who's who right now. Like even a Paulie signed with Al Heyman, so you know what I mean? Like
I know for a fact that Keith Thurman, Austin Trout, Sakio Bika are all Al Heyman really fighters. And Anthony Durrell is strictly Al Heyman fighters, employee, of course.
I think this is gonna get ugly, to be honest with you, and not on a boxing standpoint. I think on a legal perspective, I think with people like Bernard Hopkins coming out and saying things like, you know, Richard Schaefer leaving is, you know, gonna take a toll, and he was never really a Golden Boy fighter and all this stuff. I think we're gonna see a lot of people going to court. I think Oscar De La Hoya is gonna be very busy in the upcoming months.
If he signed him over right, you ain't got to worry about that.
I think there's a lot of inside stuff going on before. Because look at Shane Mosley. He was in there before, and he got his son to shine with Top Rank to get out of all that shit, you know?
That's true. But I heard, this is what I heard inside their minds, that Mosley, and one of his fights he had to throw because of Oscar, he owed Oscar a favor.
That was the Canelo fight.
Oh, that's right. It was the Canelo fight. That's right. So, I don't know. There's a lot of rumors saying that Oscar has fixed a lot of fights. Now,
maybe that's something they can hold over his head.
You know what I mean? Like,
find out a lot of shit. Once they start getting back and forth, we're gonna find out a lot of shit that's been going on. You know, people gonna.
I seen this one guy that trained with Oscar. I was talking to him. He said Oscar fixed I think it was the Carmen Citron fight, and his dad said it wouldn't go past a certain number of rounds, and it didn't. You heard Oscar's dad said it that fight. So I believe they've been fixing the fight. Shane was throwing like, man, Shane wasn't even throwing hard, man. Shane was terrible.
Fight right now in that location.
I think it's gonna get crazy. I remember at one point, just a couple of weeks ago on Facebook, we all saw that picture with the boats where I had Showtime and Golden Boy with the big boat on top of the water. The Top Rank right underneath it, you had SML audio underneath that, and now it just seems like it's completely flipped around. Now, to be honest with you, as much as I hate Top Rank, I feel like Top Rank is really the only promotional company left right now, because we don't even know what's up with Oscar and
See, for Oscar to be such a dumbass, Bob Aaron would never let you sign with Top Rank for a fight-by-fight basis. He's too smart for that. You got to have options. Even if you're not a Top Rank, like Ruslan Pravadnikov, his option run out next Saturday. You got to have options. Or a long-term contract. But the good thing about signing with Top Rank, you got guaranteed money and guaranteed fights. With Al Heyman, you can just get you on a fight-by-fight basis. Let's just say Keith Thurman go in there and Kell Brooks go in there and he knock out Sean Porter. His stock going to significantly drop. His money going to significantly drop. Versus if he was signed with Bob Arum and lost to Kell Brooks, he's still guaranteed a 1.5 million or 2 point, like Adrian Broner. Everybody was crying about how Adrian Broner got 1.5 to be on the undercard versus who the fuck did he fight? Carlos Molina, and they was crying how he get more money than Madonna because he had guaranteed.
he did make more money than Amir Khan that night, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he did.
That's how Donaire staying in there. Donaire signed that long contract with Abram. It didn't matter what happened with him. He's just still making money.
Yep, guaranteed money.
That's true, but I mean, Al Heyman gets you way more money than you would. I mean, if you look at, although Top Rank is guaranteed money, I mean, I think Manny's averaging like 8 to 10 mil a fight.
Yeah, that is true.
You know what I mean? As opposed to Cotto's making way more than that, and he's not signed with nobody.
Yeah, Manny making 8 to 10 because he owed Bob Arum from that back pay, from all the money he borrowed, the upfront money he got. So his 20 million ain't really shit. Bob Arum taking 10 off the top.
That's true. That's true. You do gotta eliminate, but even still, I mean, a guy like Manny. I mean, you remember when the whole China thing came out? That was supposed to be the whole. That we're moving to China. They were supposed to conquer a new thing, and it seems like that's falling off the picture too. Because they did the whole Brandon Reels thing. It didn't go as well as they thought it was gonna go.
They ain't shit without Zhu Shimmy. They ain't shit without Zhu Shimmy.
I take that back. I shouldn't say dudes are bums. Fighters are bums. But I think he's overrated. I mean, the dude. I understand. You know what I mean. You got a dude who's a premier Olympic fighter, but you saw it in his first fight when they turned him professional. In his first fight, he looked at just average. He barely won that fight. Yeah, I mean, it's not. There's guys out there like Golovkin who, you know what I mean, who are still, unproven. But, a guy like Golovkin has like 20-something fights already, whatever, almost 30 fights, so many knockouts. A guy like Shimon has like 4 fights, and he hasn't even looked impressive in not a single one.
He looked impressive in that last one he fought. I liked him in the last one he fought. He getting better, but he's just popular in China. They can't do a card without him in China, basically.
That's true. It's tough for me, man. I think if you throw him in there with anybody in the in the top 10 of that weight, he doesn't beat not a single one. I can't see him being.
Yeah, that's what beauty of Bob Arum. Bob Arum builds fighters' careers up. He gets you the easiest path to the belt.
Manny Pacquiao, the way they did Manny Pacquiao, the pick 'em fights, the way they always got to find something in somebody before they stick Manny in there with him.
That's true, but you saw what they did to Lomachenko.
Yeah,
you saw what they did with Lomachenko, and Lomachenko.
Lomachenko he did better than I expected him to, but he got another title shot though, at 1-1.
He do against the Al Heyman fighter, and I think Al Heyman.
I think Lomachenko gonna knock Gary Russell the fuck out. Man.
I don't have Russell winning that fight at all. Like, yet to see that guy prove anything to me. And I think Al Heyman does the same thing that Bob Arum does. He picks the easiest paths for fighters to get built up. I mean, a lot of people talk about Danny Garcia, you know what I mean? And I'm a Danny Garcia fan. I like Danny Garcia. I've been a fan of Danny Garcia before he was even known out here. I mean, we're both from Pennsylvania. I followed his amateur career. You know, I trained some fighters that went to the amateurs with him as well. So I know I have knowledge on him. But, I mean, if you look at his resume, it's solid, but it's not like a strong solid. I mean, he beat a whole Eric Morales twice. I mean, I'm talking about old.
And he was supposed to lose that. He was supposed to lose that first one. They just threw him in there. Just threw, every fight that he been in, he fought Kendall Hart. He fought.
It was an old Kendall Holt at that. It wasn't even a. It was already a beaten down Kendall Holt.
He's not fighting the solid guys. He's just fighting the names. He's not fighting them whenever they're ready to be in their prime. You know, he's fighting just the names.
I think the only solid guy he has on that list is Matisse, because
what about
Trevor was a solid B- maybe, because up until then his only notable win was against Ruslan Pranakovic, or however you say his name, and at that time Ruslan wasn't even what he is now. So, me personally, I think
he got his ass whooped. He got his ass whooped by Herrera. Ruslan.
I thought it was close. I'm not saying he got his ass beat, but I'm saying he lost the fight.
Herrera is underrated, man.
He is. He's unorthodox. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you got, you know, guys that are built up. Like, a lot of people see him as a 140-pound kid, but he really hasn't fought any. For me, the only solid fighter he's really fought was Matisse, and only because Matisse was crushing everybody.
What about
Amir Khan?
Oh, true. But Amir Khan,
Whooping that ass till he got caught.
he was whooping that ass until he got caught. But I think that Amir Khan was probably on that Peterson fight. I don't think Amir Khan really let go of that Peterson fight after he lost. He got so stuck on trying to find so many excuses on that fight.
I can't give him an excuse on that fight because he was whooping Danny Garcia ass, and Danny Garcia was timing him with that left hook the whole fight. I seen it. If he let that left hook, he gonna fuck Khan up. He did what Walker's Madonna couldn't even do.
He made him do the Judah dance. He let But I mean, you know what I'm saying? I think Al Heyman does the same exact thing Bob Arum does. I mean, we're starting to see the same, you know, guys kind of fight each other. I mean, you got more guys at 147 in Showtime than you do at HBO, of course. But I mean, now you're really starting to get where all these guys have really fought each other. I mean, you know, right now, Kell Brook, he's another guy. Who's he fought? And they have him, you know.
He beat Carson Jones.
How many losses Carson Jones got?
Like 21.
You know what I mean? Like, Carson Jones is a solid C- fighter. He's from Oklahoma City. But he's an average fighter. He's not a guy that's, you know, Kell Brook. Those are guys, you know what I mean, that are, I don't know, I think Sean Porter going to demolish him.
Hey, what happened to the guy he just beat that knocked out Ricky Hatton? What was his name?
Oh, what that happened to that guy?
Yeah, hey, Kell Brooks knocked his ass out. Kell Brooks knocked his ass out.
He did.
I forget his name.
That's an old-ass Ricky Hatton, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, it seems like on both sides of the company, you got the same thing going on. I mean, the only viable guy I see out there right now that's really, I think that can really shut the game down when Mayweather leaves is Thurman. And only because he's willing to fight anybody, whatever. It's not about the money. It's about him just whooping ass. You know what I mean? Like, we haven't had.
He better leave Sean Porter alone.
Banging. That'd be like one. They'll be meeting the center of the ring and just get it on.
Yeah, but you know what? I think I pick. I go for Sean Porter in that fight. But I think Thurman can pull out the win on that. I'm just saying in the style, we need a guy like Thurman. We need more guys like Thurman because the last time we really saw fighters like that were back in the 80s with a Hagler and a Hearns that were willing to fight whoever, whenever. Guys like Hagler didn't care. Hagler, it was never about the money. He just wanted to fight and prove that he was the best. You know what I mean?
That bobblehead.
Mostly, he was used to be like that for a while. Floyd was like that for a minute till he got his little Oscar win. That changed him from pretty boy to money. He was Floyd when he after the Oscar, he wasn't the same. Hold
That's
on.
true.
You got Tim Bradley. He's liable when it 140, 147. He'll fight anybody. He don't care.
Who's that?
Tim Bradley.
True, but here's the thing with Bradley. I think he just signed an extension with Top Rank.
Yeah, he just did.
Right? So, he kind of put the over. Hey, man, he kind of took, because now he's just gonna get flushed in that same circle. And the fact that he won that first Manny fight, it kind of, that's what kind of really messed up his career. Now you got to look at it like, you know, where does he go from here? If he wants to fight Showtime, boys, is Bob Arum gonna let him? You know, it's tough now. I mean,
Ruslan rematch or the Marquez rematch. That's his two biggest pop.
with that rematch though,
Marquez wants it.
I mean, he doesn't have a belt. You know what I mean? It's not like he has a belt no more. And Marquez ain't really trying to fight nobody that doesn't have a belt because he sees it as pointless. That's why he fought Alvarado and then a fight. Well, I take that back because he got offered the Ruslan fight for the belt, and he denied. He denied that. I want people to know that he denied that. He didn't want no part of Ruslan.
Who didn't want that part of Ruslan?
Marquez. Marquez didn't want that. He said, "I don't take that belt. I take an Alvarado."
I ain't mad at him. He beat the shit out.
Beat down Alvarado. You could tell Alvarado was still shook out from the Ruslan fight. He didn't want no part of it. Yo, he really suffered a lot from that fight. It was bad, and it was real. If you think Angulo had no power against Canelo, Alvarado had nothing against Marquez. Even with that knockdown, it was a flash knockdown. You know what I mean? Really a knockdown. It was a surprise punch. Because Marquez got back up and lighted him right up. It was even.
I got a question. Let's say Danny Garcia hypothetically is part of Golden Boy. Would you want to see him fight Pacquiao or Ruslan at 140?
To be honest,
I'd rather see Ruslan.
I want the Ruslan fight. You give me Ruslan. I'm tired of Pacquiao. I'm tired of trying to match out Pacquiao with all these people. Nah, listen. All I want is people need to fight this guy Ruslan. That's why I don't care if he doesn't win or not. No, for me, he's like the Gotti of this era, but with a whole lot of power. You know what I mean? There's no, you cannot say no to those type of fighters. Come on.
Who got more power, him or Matisse?
Ooh, that's tough.
Matisse got more power.
I'd say Matisse got more power, but he ain't got a chin like Ruslan got.
We found that out. hey, John Molina.
To be honest with you, it's rough because, all right. I don't know. I think Ruslan may edge him only because. Listen. Matisse. I don't know. I didn't feel he hurt Danny one time in that whole fight.
Didn't I talk about Danny Chin?
I think if Ruslan would have been hitting, not Ruslan, if Matisse would have been hitting Bradley with the same shots Ruslan hit him with, he'd have knocked Bradley out.
True. Maybe, but I don't think Bradley would have suffered a concussion like he did for months after, like he did with Ruslan.
He'd have been sleeping earlier, a lot earlier. That's 6
But he would have been coming a whole lot faster. I don't know.
Ruslan can't take
It's rough for me.
Bradley Provokov, that was brutal.
Because you know what? Because you saw what Pronakovic did to Alvarado, and he, if you watch that fight, there was not one punch thrown from Ruslan in that fight that you didn't say, "Oh shit!" It looked like a little Mike Tyson was throwing punches.
But he still didn't knock him out. He had to quit on a stool.
True.
He
You got
didn't
that.
knock
True. True. I can't argue that. You got that.
Batista was one minute quitting motherfuckers, dog.
That's true. True. I can't argue that. That's true.
The way he knocked out Peterson, oh my god.
But you know Peterson, he always comes in. Peterson can never. Peterson's a boxer who likes to come in. He's always been like that, and that's where his biggest problem has been at.
That left hook decapitated his ass.
And he was who's he? What? Mike Dallas didn't want to fight Matisse. Was it Mike Dallas, right?
Mike Dallas did fight him and got knocked out.
out. He almost went under the ring.
That's right. Who was supposed to get Matisse after that fight? It wasn't Peterson. That's somebody else.
Hank Lundy.
Ah, Hank Lundy, the Philly boy. That's right. But yeah, I'm not even gonna get started on Hank Lundy.
What about Hank Lundy?
Man,
He beat the shit out of Jose.
who?
The same guy Matisse beat the shit out of.
No. Man, I thought we were supposed to get a Hank Lundy versus Mayfield.
Man, that ain't gonna happen. Mayfield, a free agent. They dropped Mayfield after he lost to Thomas Delorme.
Hey, Thomas Delorme put the beating on him.
Man, that nigga held the whole fight.
He put the beating on Mayfield.
They was dancing around the fight.
I don't know. What do you guys think about Thomas Delorme?
I like him. Besides the holding, at 140, he punched like a horse.
Oh man, I think I think his chin is very questionable. I think it's just an accident waiting to happen. I think that's an Amir Khan again, all over. And I'm Puerto Rican. That's yeah, I mean, like that don't get. I don't know. I don't like. You know what? All that holding. Eventually, they're gonna be a referee that's not gonna let you hold all that much.
But he showed
like Ruslan try to hold him. Ruslan beat the shit out of you on the inside.
That's what I'm saying. Like for me, he doesn't throw enough punches to really be. Yeah, I mean, like I don't know.
Remember, he's still rebuilding himself too from that knockout, the Abregu. So he's still rebuilding. What y'all think about Abregu versus not Abregu versus Rios? What about Rios versus Diego Chavez?
Yes.
That's gonna be a tough fight.
That's gonna show me. That's gonna show to me if Keith Thurman real or not.
Yeah.
You got Chavez.
I think it's gonna look like Mile High and Rios.
I hope so. I hope.
Hey, that's gonna be a good fight. I was hoping they were gonna give us Rios versus Ruslan, and I would love to see that fight.
Man, Rios, man, I want no parts of that right now.
He said he wanted it. He said he wanted it.
You gotta leave that motherfucker alone before he gets punch drunk for real.
Hey, somebody gotta fight Ruslan. I mean, everybody's looking at his next fight with that Canadian guy on. What's his name? Algieri?
Man, two ESPN fighters going at it.
Yeah, but you know what? That Algieri guy, he's a pretty good boxer.
That's what it takes to beat him. If you can box, you can beat him.
Ruslan, man, he gonna box Ruslan for 3 good rounds, and Ruslan gonna break his ass down. Canadian boxers.
All right, well, let's wrap this up, fellas. I think we all feel. I mean, what Golden Boy? Y'all think Golden Boy gonna survive this?
Negative.
Nah, they're sinking fast. Like Titanic is going down.
I agree. I think in a couple of months there won't be no more Golden Boy. I think Oscar eventually is just gonna be under that top rank and just be another.
Come out of the get one last fight, get his ass whooped.
As soon as Canelo loses, it's over. It's going like the Titanic.
I hear that. Well, this has been another episode. You guys already know.
It'll be up in a minute. We gone.
Yo, put your mouse up. All right, sir.